Yeah, sometimes you just gotta kill the things of your childhood, you know? Like, you gotta grow up. You gotta realize that childish fantasies need to die. And you gotta become a hardened, horrible adult.
Yeah. You mean like a banker exercising their American freedom?
Oh, no, that's fine. And
Oh.
also, landlords, perfectly fine.
Good, honest,
Yeah.
hardworking small business types like bankers and landlords. But it's good because that way we can exercise our freedom, like you're doing, to crack open that drink that you just did at, 11 a.m. And welcome to Rough Cuts.
Dogs, they're coming. They're coming your way. They'll be here soon.
What's the story, Wishbone? What's this you're dreaming of? Such big imagination on such a little bug. What's the story, Wishbone? Do you think it's worth a look? It kinda seems familiar, like a story from a book. Shake a leg now, Wishbone. Let's wag another tail. Sniffing out adventure with Wishbone on the trail. Come on, Wishbone. What's the story, Wishbone? What's the story, Wishbone? What's the story, Wishbone? What's the story, Wishbone?
How's it going, everybody? This is Rough Cuts. It's a podcast where we watch movies about dogs, and then we rate the dog at the end. I'm Boyks. This is Ilion.
Hi.
We've done a lot of episodes of this podcast. And today, we are, for some reason...
Murdering your dog childhood. Doghood?
We're throwing the proverbial dog under the truck.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
I've seen enough of these movies.
I've seen it. Yeah, it happens a lot. Yeah.
Wishbone is a PBS or public broadcast system, public funded educational program.
Yes.
Where they take classic written either short stories or novels and they act them out with a dog as the main character. Wishbone. But everybody else is just a normal human. He's just, for some reason, a dog. And then they try to tie it into a 90s sitcom, small town America story. And they do classics like Ivanhoe and Tom Sawyer, Frankenstein. There's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Dang.
And whatever the fuck
ones.
we just watched.
And then this short story by O. Henry. No, not that short story by O. Henry. No, not that one either. Nope, not that one. No, it's not that one either. No, not that one.
No.
It's like five short... Like, O. Henry is... So I did take English literature. Like, that was what I wanted to do in university. But... This is like, they're taking like C-level O. Henry, right? Like he's got a lot of short stories. Sure. You're not getting like Gift of the Magi or something here. Like you're taking Edgar Allan Poe, but you're like, well, we're not going to do The Raven or like The House of Usher or Murders in the Rue Morgue. And you're like, okay, well, what are you doing eventually? Like, why this one?
Because it's got to be for kids. So you can't have anything like drunkenness or gunfights or...
Just as soon as you get a shot.
I don't have a gun.
But you have to kidify it. So they want to do the Wild West. And they also want to be a little bit held back on the racism of the Wild West. But not the classism of the Wild West.
This is such a weird... God, there's so much that I have to tell you about this. It's so strange.
this might be the most patriotic movie. Well, there was that one, like, what was it, Skydog? Whatever, the one where they're holding the American flag and crying as they shoot the terrorists in the airport or whatever.
Yeah. The terrorists are in the airport to hijack a plane, and the tiny little cup flag falls out.
You're like, oh,
and
freedom!
And then in the moment when everybody's at their lowest, the like flight attendant lady like leans down and picks up the tiny American cup flag, and the music swells. Yes, that's Skydog. Yep, that one.
Like, maybe not as... It's pretty close, though.
No, it's not anywhere near some of those. But it is very... Man, so Wishbone is walking around on a leash at the beginning of this, and he's just going, I thought this was America! Do I not have freedom? Where's my freedom? Why am I on this leash, huh? Huh?
Right now I'm having a little difficulty with the freedom issue.
Yeah, fuck freedom.
Easy, Wishbone.
Wishbone becomes a sovereign citizen.
Today for you to be running around by yourself.
But that's what carnivals are all about,
Yeah.
Joe. Running around free. Maybe getting fed for free. We'll go to Ellen, and I'll present a list of demands. Demand number 1, remove Wanda from the end of the leash. Demand number 2, remove Wishbone
He's
from the
very
other end of the
quickly
leash.
turning into libertarian Wishbone. I just want to make this clear.
Why do we gotta be on a leash? Why can't I just do what I want? I thought this was America. And he's like drunkenly wandering around this carnival. This carnival that has a Christian glee club presentation / dance.
I also love just him talking about like I thought this is America and I should you're like, oh, okay, well he's gonna learn a lesson that you can't just do whatever you want it. Oh no, that's the lesson.
That's not the lesson. Yeah.
No, the lesson is that you should do what you want when you want to do it.
The lesson isn't that the leashes are there to hold people in line so that the people that are most vulnerable get, the support that they need.
Or whatever, like,
or whatever
like
bullshit message they want to say. No, the lesson is, hey, maybe we should reconsider those leash laws. What if there was less government?
What if there were no laws? What if everything was cool again?
You remember Texas and the Wild West? That was real America.
There was the cool shit where bankers were free and
where bankers were free to invest in cryptocurrency and an entire small bank with all your money could just crumble overnight.
Oh my god, it's this goes places.
The story that they're adapting is Heart of the West, I believe, is what it was.
Is that what it was?
I think that's the title. The story of... Well, not the story. The title of this movie is called Wishbone's Dog Days of the West, but the story they're adapting is Heart of the West. And...
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's just like a generic Western tale. There's definitely a moral message somewhere, but it's definitely in the wrong.
The Wild West. Now those were the days.
They had freedom.
The honest dog was free to roam the open field.
Yeah, okay.
Someone else who loved the Old West. The writer William Sidney Porter, who is
just
known
wants
by his
to go
pen
back
name,
to the old days. Traditionalism. Wishbone.
Wishbone loves traditionalism and libertarianism.
But the days of the cowboy were giving way to the modern
Getting
age.
there.
Boomtowns became ghost towns. But O. Henry was determined to capture for all time the spirit of the American West. He wrote a collection of short stories and called them Heart of the West.
This is a weird O. Henry story.
Yeah.
So for those that don't, O. Henry is also known as William Sidney Porter. Probably the most famous story that he has is Gift of the Magi, where there's like a couple, and she has like, her hair is the most beautiful thing and she loves it the most, and her husband has this watch that he really loves, but like the watch doesn't have a latch on it anymore, kind of thing, like it doesn't have the keychain, and so she sells her hair, like cuts it off for a wig to give to somebody, and he buys her these beautiful combs by selling his watch, and they both learn that like the real gift was the love that they had for each other, etc., etc.
But that's not the message. The message is they should have communicated.
Yeah, that is the actual message. I mean, his stories are known for having like ironic twists, right? Like they're supposed, a lot of them have that.
You're like, wow, that was really clever. Is what you say. This one's, you read it, yeah.
This one doesn't have a twist, though. Really,
The twist is that
Like, it doesn't...
the twist is that the news was right at the end, but
I guess.
but it didn't resolve anything. I don't.
No. And
Yeah.
it's funny, a lot of his stories are also supposedly, from what I remember of O. Henry, like, a fair number of his stories had, like, people that were, like, regular clerks and stuff as kind of the heroes, so it was more, like, smaller figures. This one is,
Sure.
the banker.
The banker, the landlord, the person
the
who
good
owns
guy
the town. The good
who
guy.
owns the town, including all of, like, the media, so that he can just say what he wants and get everybody on his side by manipulating it.
God.
Because he's the good guy and the hero.
Like, so the Wishbone story jumps back and forth between the book, or short story in this case, and the real life events of this real dog and this real town. But they're trying to tie them in. So
Yes.
the Western story, at its heart, is about a Waffle House.
Absolutely. And the shit that happens at 3 a.m.
Because they so it's for kids. They couldn't show them just at a bar drinking all the time, even though one of the characters' main thing is that he gets drunk all the time anyways. So I don't think the point was about that. But they changed the Western bar into a Waffle House. And
Basically.
it's almost more accurate that it's a Waffle House. You don't fuck with the Waffle House.
It's really good.
Right? I'm trying to think, God. So the story of this actually reminds me, I was seeing a post recently. People were posting. People always be posting.
Man, do people post?
I'm-
You mean the modern equivalent of short stories?
Yeah. And there was a story about a small town that they only had 3 people in their government. Like, they were running the town.
Schneiderville, yes.
Schneiderville, that's what it was. And
Yes.
2 of them were married, which is not a conflict of interest.
Except that it is extremely a conflict of interest.
And the 2 of them overrode the third person in the council to do whatever the fuck they wanted in town. And they're, like, making laws saying you can't have signs out or we'll fine you. You can't protest. You can't get rowdy in our meetings that we tell you how to do everything to reshape this town into our image. We'll pay the cops to just harass you. And
which unsurprisingly led to, like, fist fights at town hall
Fist
constantly and, like, yeah.
And the whole town, including the pizza joint, getting into the action of being like, fuck these 2 people.
Yeah, putting up, like, signs that, like, everybody's like, okay, well, if they're gonna fine us for having signs, everybody put out a sign.
Fuck
and they got, so then they're like, fine, we'll fine the whole town, and just, like, having this massive fight back and forth.
It's the Wild West. It
yes,
was about
it very
freedom.
much is.
And then one of them eventually loses an election of the couple, and the other guy gets into a huge fight and gets just beat the shit out of by the sheriff.
Yeah.
In this cathartic beatdown. And this is small town America politics. And in Wishbone, that was the good guy.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm like, wait a minute.
Yep. Yeah, the person that owns the town and manipulates it all to their own ends is the hero of this story.
Apparently. And I'm like, that is a very American story. Don't get me wrong. It's very American politics. I just don't think it's the right message.
Yeah, so, like, to go into how things start, Wishbone is... like, they're shown as, like, cattle hands, like, ranch hands kind of thing.
Yeah.
Wishbone and
Tom.
this friend that they have. Yeah.
They're Tom and Bill in the story.
Yes, Tom and Bill are friends, and they're cattle hands together. And then after a long time of doing that, it's Tom that he is, right? No,
Tom
he's Bill.
is the rancher. Bill's the banker.
Bill
Bill
is
is Wishbone, yeah.
So Bill ends up saving enough money that he opens up a bank and then buys up most of the town slowly. And the story starts that the big conflict comes in when the big, evil, awful government comes down on poor little Bill just for giving out a loan with absolutely...
I mean, all he did was take the town's money after buying every single piece of land and building, and then improperly invest it in his friend.
Yes.
For no collateral.
With no collateral or anything else.
All of the town's money hostage.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
What could be wrong with that? And now, I had looked this up a little bit, and I had said that I wasn't going to tell Boyks the whole time. Boyks was like, what are you talking about? It was very, very funny, you constantly going like, oh, I see Wishbone's cooking the books, and Wishbone's like, oh yeah, you know, Wishbone's embezzling all this money out of his bank, and on, and every time you said that, I laughed so hard, because I'm just going to read you a brief section of the O. Henry Wikipedia.
Oh, that's an interesting page to look at.
After moving to Houston in 1895, he was charged with embezzlement stemming from an audit of the bank and fled to Honduras before the trial.
Oh, so it was a self-insert.
It was a self-insert.
Oh.
The poor little banker that just accidentally and improperly took these funds is being so put upon by the evil government regulators that just want to keep the little guy down.
You know, it's starting to add up. This story, it's starting to add up. So this correlates with Wanda back in the real world, who, because of Wishbone's danger sense that Wishbone put points into during character creation, Wanda helped save a girl from being crushed to death by a stage light from a stage collapse at their Glee concert in front of the sandcastle building section of the carnival where all the children are.
Yeah.
In Texas. Not on the beach, mind you. They just have a sand pit for kids to play in.
That's Texas, yeah.
I assume that's the fracking education.
The town sand pit is kind of central to most Texas towns.
Oh, yes! Yes!
All we need is a little child murder. Wait. Okay, so you say that Wishbone always appears in, like, a different story. Does he get isekai normally, or...?
I don't think it's an isekai, no. You know what our children's movies have been missing that we've been watching? That's right, tension. You know what Wishbone has?
Tension. Yeah, actually.
So there's this huge dramatic crash at this stage, and she jumps off. And then the news media comes rushing in as she's still in shock. And they just shove a microphone in her face. It's saying, how did you know that was going to crash? Did you do it? Are you the cause? Did you know? Yeah. Do you have telepathy and or a future? Could you read the future? I am a newsman. No, I didn't do it. Wishbone did it. He's the smart dog. Get a picture of that dog. Now. Zoom in.
I want pictures of that dog.
So they
do need pictures of that dog. Wishbone's a really good Jack Russell for those that don't know.
Okay, so first of all, a Jack Russell in like a small vest and a tiny cowboy hat.
A little hat, yeah, all the time.
Good. There's a reason why Wishbone was popular. But so they shoot this news like segment seconds after this traumatic event in front of the girl who almost died and Wanda who saved her. And the crowd of people. They don't even give her a moment to like gather her thoughts. It's ridiculous. And then what's even more ridiculous is that night Wanda and all of her friends and her neighbors and her coworkers and everybody gather around at the local Waffle House / bar.
Yes.
And they're like, yo, we need to watch this news footage. Look at this. And it just is constantly showing like the crash. It's like they're getting together to watch 9/11 footage or something, right? Like, it's ridiculous.
They're all so excited about it.
Like, what? Let's go watch
Oh, man, this is where I broke my arm falling off that improperly welded stage.
Yeah.
Like,
whoa, this is where that bridge collapsed. Look at that. Look at it again. Like, come on, man.
That is kind of American media.
And they're just getting excited about this. And then the news biddy is like, while we were investigating Wanda, who's the town hero, we also noticed in the records that she happens to own like all these government buildings and the firehouse and everything downtown, and that's fucking weird, right? So we're gonna dig into it next time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, wow, how could they say all those bad things about me? I'm the hero. I saved this little girl from dying horribly.
I thought it was really weird at this point, because they talk about how she owns like a piece of property. They can talk about a bunch of them, but it made it sound for a second, I was like, oh, are they maybe gonna blame her that like the
that she
improper
caused
construction?
Like,
yeah,
I thought it was gonna be a construction thing, or they were going to get her, because if she owns the place where the carnival's happening, then
Yes.
she is responsible for the safety of the stage. So
Yeah,
even though she
exactly.
saved that girl, she's still at fault
caused it.
for not being aware enough and being negligent for the safety of the people on that stage and the way it was constructed, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
That's
They
not
just
it.
brushed right over that, though. That's not it
That's
at
not
all.
important. No,
Nope,
that's
not even a little bit. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about who made this collapsing stage that fell on an entire glee club of like 8-year-olds.
In fact, they never investigate the cause
No.
of that at all. It's irrelevant. It's just the catalyst for them investigating her owning the town.
Yes. The other thing that's funny about that to me is that they show like this whole stage light and everything like fall on the stage. Like it annihilates the stage. Like that whole stage
Yes.
would have been destroyed.
Yeah.
There were like 30 kids up there. She jumps and grabs one. Are the other 29 children just all in hospital, dead? Like what?
So technically, Wishbone jumped up on the stage and ushered all the kids off, except for the ones.
Sure, they got most of the kids.
But in reality, this is like a Final Destination.
It really looked...
The Glee Club gets impaled by the stage.
Yeah, this looked like it was going to be a
Right.
disaster, like a triangle shirt, right? Like,
Yes.
triangle factory.
So then it goes to the Wild West to try and tie in this story of Wanda being improperly questioned for owning the town.
Mm-hmm.
And being a landlord banker or whatever she is. I think she just owns the newspaper, but she also owns loans at a bank because she's loaning money to everybody in town and then taking their deeds. And I don't...
Yeah, she owns... Basically, they say that she owns the entire downtown core.
It's a legitimate question of where did you get all this money? How do you own all the town? And why is everybody indebted to you? And also, why are you the mouthpiece of the media? These are all very good questions, actually.
Yes. Yeah. No, like, this is actual investigative journalism that
Wait
would
a
need
minute.
to happen in a lot of ways. Like, it's really weird because they're like, wait, like, but no one can get a loan in the town without her approval. It's like, yep.
And everybody she gave a loan to also advertises in her paper. So there's a conflict of interest there of them not advertising in other locations.
And such, yeah. Which they bring up.
This is a valid point.
Yes.
Which is frustrating that it's treated as them just harassing her because she volunteers at the local carnival, I guess.
Yep. Yeah,
What?
no, but she's nice. The one person, the line that like really, one of the lines that really killed me was one of the people defending her and going like, I can't believe they're doing it to her. She's the best landlord I've had.
Yeah.
Wanda's the best landlord anyone could want.
She's the best landlord in town. Like,
yeah, great. She's also the
okay.
only landlord in
she
town, which
owns
seems
all
like
of
a
the
problem.
town. Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yep. Like they talk about how she owns all the government buildings.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the government is leasing them from her.
It's basically Snyderville, right? Like,
Yes.
she's running the town from the shadows, and
Yeah,
it's a
one
problem.
citizen that they interview. They do have one dissenting voice, and I was like, this person makes the best point, and everybody's like, oh, that person's just all mad about it, and they're like, yeah, I tried to get a loan from her, but nothing goes ahead in this town without her say so.
that's a good
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point and a big problem that she can just sculpt everything in her image because she holds all the cards.
point. And you might be saying, if you're a weirdo, oh, but she won't. She's nice. She volunteers. She's good to her friends and gives favoritism to them. But But what if she hands that off to somebody else later, and they're not? You fucking idiot. You short-sighted moron.
What, she shouldn't be allowed to take all of the town's investments and just give it to her friend for a... No, I'm good for it, bro. Anyways, back to the Old West.
Wait, you're saying the author got in trouble for embezzling? Anyway.
At a bank?
Yeah,
Weird.
So it cuts to the Old West, and I guess, like, Tom and Bill walk into the local Waffle House. The Old West Waffle House, where it's just a Denny's or whatever, and they're just handing out, like, scrambled eggs and bacon to everybody.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
It's very good.
And there's one lady, Maine, I forget her name.
Yeah, it's something like that.
But she is the Waffle House chef and like, host. And Tom wants to date her because she is a lady. And that's as far as he got on the thoughts. But there's a drunk guy at the table who's always be drinking. And he asks her out first. And he's jealous because he thought of dating a lady before that other guy. And that's not okay. This is the Wild West, right? And the owner of the Waffle House, she gets real mad at both of them. And she's like, I wouldn't date men. Men are gross. All they do is eat. Men always be eating.
He goes, what, women don't eat? And she goes, no, they don't. I'm not even kidding. That's a literal line.
Women don't eat. They nibble. They starve themselves. Men always be eating.
I can't believe it, putting calories in your filthy bodies.
I'll spend time with no man and have him sit at the breakfast table and eat. And come back to lunch and eat. And then happening again at supper to eat.
I knew there was some reason I was never interested in Maine.
But, Mame, don't girls ever...
No, they don't. They eat politely, they nibble a little bit, and they use manners.
But I thought when you put sweets in front of a girl...
For goodness sakes, Tom, change the subject.
And the drunk guy.
I think this makes more sense if it was. I'm guessing that this is actually
alcohol.
Drinking. Yeah.
They changed alcohol to eating scrambled eggs. It's the dumbest fucking thing. All they do is eat themselves into a fucking early grave.
Yo.
And I'm like, wait, what?
It's a very funny change.
What the fuck are you talking about? And then Tom is talking to the drunk guy. He's like, yeah, I bet your mom's very proud of you. Just like Tommy Tallarico, who I will not keep bringing up on this podcast.
Your mother must be very proud.
His mommy loves him very much. It's not fair to make fun of him.
So they start a Waffle House brawl because they always be eaten. Right? And
he's mad that this other guy... I love that... Our heroes are the banker and his friend, and the villain is the guy who happened to ask out a woman before he could.
Before he just started.
That's literally his crime.
It's the guy who didn't catcall her, basically. Like,
yep.
Okay.
But it's not even like he was like, hey, toots, like, shake that for me. He was like, hey, would you do me the honor of, like, going out for dinner with me tonight? And she goes, no, you're gross.
Yeah.
Which, like, that... It was fair of him to ask her like that, and it was fair of her to turn him down like that.
And it's only bad because Tom wanted to do it first, but he's such a fucking incel loser.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, our hero.
Wait, you're saying this is an insert? A self-insert? Somewhere
this
in
is
the
a self-insert,
story?
yeah.
Anyway.
Look at you. Ain't no woman ever gonna be interested in you no-how. Now you've gone and made her jump to conclusions about all men.
So then a banker from the East Coast, from the big city, walks into small town Texas. And he comes up to Tom and to Bill. And he's like, hey, by the way, I was looking into your records. I was putting my nose into your business, and I found out that you gave this loan to your friend for $10,000 with no collateral. And $10,000 is a lot of money in 1997 when this is set. And
yeah.
And you can't just steal the town's money and give it to your friend with no guarantee of pay. So...
And Wishbone goes, no, but he promised me. He said, bro, I got this.
He said his brother, who's out of town, who I've never met, is going to sell off some cattle to a different town and then come back at some undetermined time. It's like free money.
Yeah, it's guaranteed. But this rich coastal elite just can't let the small banker do one little improper loan.
I guess. So then it cuts back to modern day. Mm-hmm. And Wanda is getting set up for another interview with the news people because she wants to clear up the misconceptions about her owning all of the town illegally from some back alley deal. And then she admits to owning the whole town illegally from some back alley
deal.
And she gets real mad about that she admitted to it. And he's like, what? The news people just came in and took all my words and twisted them and edited them to say things I didn't say. I didn't know that would happen. And her friend, who is like the mom of the kid that owns Wishbone.
Yes.
Is like, well, yeah, they do that. Like, they just go on and they just, rile people up for a news story. Well, I didn't know they do that to me. It's fine if they do it to other people. I don't want the lepers to eat my face.
He wrecks people's lives just because he wants to get a story.
But why would he do that to me? He called me a hero.
Why would he do that to me? I'm fine if he does it to other people.
Anything we can to help.
Yeah, why would leopards rip my face off?
Uh-oh, he's back! Joe,
holy
cover me!
Shit. I know that we do that as media, but I can't do it to me. I'm one of them.
And this is killing me. Everybody in this movie, whenever the news media comes in, they just immediately let them in to their house and sit down the way they tell them to and set up the cameras and let them record them saying whatever in a way that they want them to say it.
Yep.
They could just not do that. They could just not let them in. They could just not do an interview.
Yeah, they knocked on the door to the mom afterwards, and she's trying to run and hide because they manipulated this other interview, and they're trying to find her again, and I was like, media's like cops or vampires. You can just tell them no, they can't come in your house.
Yeah.
Just say no. Just don't let them in.
But they keep letting them in and keep setting up interviews with this news media that has a valid point, but in the concept as presented in the movie, they shouldn't give any time of day to.
Yeah, no, they're twisting it. It's one of those things where, obviously, in the logic of the world and everything, these are the bad guys, and they are doing villainous things. But when you sit down and go, and strip out, the bias that they're adding to it, you go, yeah, this is fucking weird. It's one of those.
Yep.
Obviously, these guys are being manipulative and stuff, but even as they're being manipulative, every time they ask a question, you're like, no, but that's a good question. No, you should answer that. Point, that's a really good point.
Hey,
you should actually answer
Wanda?
that.
I was on your...
Yeah.
I was on your side until they brought up all these valid fucking points.
Which brings us to then the real villain behind everything, who I'm guessing is some regular character on the show.
Maybe. They have some recurring characters, but...
It seemed like some kind of recurring villain. It seemed like it made it sound like he had been on Wishbone before as a character.
The main recurring characters are the mom, her son, who owned Wishbone, the neighbor, and then
Wanda.
Some of the son's friends from school who never show up in this movie.
No, they don't show up in this movie. The mom and kid are totally out of it too.
Yeah.
They're in for 30
This is
seconds.
really the Wanda movie.
Yeah,
it turns out you shouldn't make a movie about the landlord.
No.
Nobody is going to be on that person's side.
But the villain behind everything here is the guy that owns the TV station. Ha And so
he has a
been
personal
manipulating
vendetta against Wanda.
He's been manipulating the media himself, and he has a personal vendetta because he shows up at the newspaper and goes, "So where's your fucking deed for this place?"
Yeah,
which it's a
good
point.
question. How did you get the newspaper? And her friends, the mom and the son, are like, "Wait, how did you get the newspaper? Actually, hold on."
And she goes, "Well, through legal means."
It was
like what?
definitely
the
legal.
legal means. My dad gave it to me through legal means, and the news guy shows up, and news villain rather than news good guy, like she is. Oh man, and he goes like, "Well, you don't have a deed for this. My dad owned it," and like basically produces all the evidence for it and takes it from her, which.
It's even weirder because he goes back to the city records for the newspaper, and it never actually legally changed hands. So he just buys it with money and gets a real legal document that says, "I own this." And then it's like, "By the way, Wanda, you don't own the fucking newspaper anymore. I do. I control all the media now, and you're fired. Welcome to Activision Blizzard, everyone." or whatever company you want to fucking talk about.
Well, and that works out perfectly in this analogy, because that means that they're firing CEO. Oh my God, Bobby. What's
Kotick?
His last name? Yes, Bobby Kotick. And it's like, oh, there's no heroes in this. I get it. Everybody's bad.
It's only the little guy, Bobby Kotick.
Yeah.
Get some fucking freedom.
That's what this story is. And you're kind of like, okay, I know that Microsoft isn't the good guys, but also, man, it's not Bobby. It's sure not Bobby.
So back in the Wild West world,
yes,
Tom tries to ask random people on the street for $10,000 in the year 1997. The old West.
It's really fucking good.
And they're like, "Tom, I don't have fucking $10,000. What the hell are you talking
fuck are you talking about?"
So then he goes to a competing bank from Bill's scam bank. His fucking crypto bank.
Yes.
And he
goes to the real bank.
He's like, "Hey, can you give me $10,000 to pay off my other $10,000 loan? I'm definitely good for it."
Yes. That is exactly how he does it. And the guy goes,
"No,
we can't give out loans based on that. We can't do vibes-based loans.
And we don't even have the cash on hand anyways, because I'm putting it all into a big sack and taking it to another town at this date, at this time."
But, like, as a bank, you might actually have to do that.
Yes, but he gives him the exact date and time he's going to be carrying way too much money.
Yeah.
Which is reasonable, because what's Tom going to do? Rob him?
Anyways, so Tom gets a handkerchief, puts it over his face and a gun, and goes to rob them.
He never gets in trouble for this. I'm actually annoyed at the fact that there were no repercussions for him holding up the stagecoach of money.
Well, they didn't even notice him robbing them. It's so funny.
No, he stands out, shoots his gun. He's like, "All right, this is a stick-up." And then Bill Wishbone lassos him, pulls him away. He's like, "Hey, you can't do crime.
Don't do crime.
Only I can do crime on the books. You showed them your name, your face.
Yeah.
You idiot."
Yeah.
Bill?
Case never needed to be fixed up this way, Tom.
I was desperate, Bill. You called your loan. I had to answer you.
You're a good friend, Tom. I admire your loyalty.
I wish you would do more crime,
Coop
actually.
told me about all that money going out on the
You
stage.
just gotta
this
do
morning.
crime smart. Everyone knows it'd be you.
I didn't know what else to do.
See, what we gotta do is cook the books.
Yeah, we gotta make an alibi. Yeah, we gotta... Oh, God. Yes, we have to cook the books. Yes. Do white-collar crime, you idiot. You get kids' gloves for white-collar crime.
What is the message?
Good point,
here?
Wishbone. What's the message? That white-collar crime pays.
So then as Tom and Bill are walking back into town, the drunk guy is in the middle of town with his 6 pistols.
Yeah.
Because he has way too many guns. Because it's
Yeah, not a 6-shooter. No, he has 6 pistols.
No, he has 6 of them.
Yeah.
He has so many. He's
36 shooters.
He's like shoving the barrels down his pants aimed at his junk because he just can't fit the amount of guns he has.
Yeah, this is almost like a Matrix moment of him like opening up the jacket and just the like, holy shit.
And he's like drunk and mad that he doesn't have money, but Tom had money because he took out an illegal deal. And he can't get a loan because Bill, his friend, is the one making all the deals in town and owns half the town. Mm-hmm. And how am I, the little guy, supposed to get by when you fuckers are corrupting the entire town?
Anyways, this is our villain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, our villain.
He got drunk on milk and he'd always be eaten. If only these men wouldn't just always be eaten.
If he wasn't eaten all the time. That's the other funny thing, is that you know that because they changed alcohol to eating, that like they're all mad at him for
eating, like,
eating
eggs
too
and
much.
Bacon.
But also what's funny about that is you know then that also those other characters were in that same bar.
Yes.
It's not like they're not out drinking themselves. They're just like, you know, having a big, oh, look at this bad guy drinking. Well, they're sitting there, you know, holding whiskey bottles.
How dare you drink? Oh.
Yeah. Like, hypocritical pieces of shit.
So it turns out, I think his name is Calliope, is the drunk guy.
Yes. Yeah.
He is a really good shot when he's drunk.
Unbelievable. Holy
He's just
fuck.
shooting bottles left and right, shooting signs, shooting hats off of people. He's shooting so well, he's specifically not killing anyone.
Yeah, he's just playing pranks on people. And he's doing it blind fire, too. Like, he, like, dives down behind a horse trough, and without looking, like, shoots 2 signs down onto people.
He's like Gears of War shooting them. Like, cover shooting.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
He's in a third-person shooter, is the thing. He can, like, wall hacks over everything.
So then, Tom and Calliope decide to have a duel. Mm-hmm. And Tom's like, okay, Bill Wishbone, you count. I'll do my paces. And then they run into a barn and trick him. It's just a prank.
Yeah.
We're not actually doing a duel at all. Got him.
Yeah, he runs away while they're counting, which is kind of funny.
And Calliope's like, well, if you're going to do that, I'm just going to shoot up the Waffle House.
Fuck it. I'm going to pick a fight with the Waffle House, said idiot.
And then the Waffle House lady walks out with a shotgun. It's like, oh, you want to fuck with the Waffle House?
Because she's a fucking Waffle House lady. You don't fuck with the Waffle House. What are you doing?
And he gets in a gunfight with the Waffle House lady. And it's like, holy shit, this is just
Calliope's
like real life.
got a goddamn death wish.
It's really good, actually.
Yes.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so then he has like a big shootout all across town with all these people. The sheriff deputizes Wishbone and
Bill.
Tom.
Wishbone's Bill and Tom, yeah.
Yeah.
And Wishbone's like, okay, you want us to take out Calliope with his 6 pistols that he keeps constantly reloading because he has infinite ammo. I don't even have a gun.
I don't have a gun. He's like, all right, Wishbone, you charge in, you take point. I don't have a gun. Like, just constantly interrupting him. Like, no. You don't understand. I'm dog. I don't have gun. Like, all right, you get in there, you little scamp. And he's like, but no gun.
I guess we done just about all the talking we can do. So you shoot. Just as soon as you get a shot.
I don't have a gun.
You keep behind cover and you bring him down.
I don't have a gun.
Come on, Bill.
I don't have a gun.
Lucky dog.
So instead, Tom and Bill pull a rope in front of this giant pile of CGI horse shit. And their plan is to play a prank on Calliope by dunking him into the horse shit and tripping him.
Yes.
Which they do, and then he rightfully gets mad and starts shooting at them. They're like, oh, right, he has a gun. Oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
What were we thinking? We gotta stop pulling pranks on this guy. And then it hard cuts back to real life.
Mm-hmm.
In the real world. And our main character's a kid that is being employed by the newspaper, breaking all child labor laws.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yes, actually, you know what? Yeah, I think Wanda might just be the villainess.
The newspaper owned by Wanda, supposedly, is employing children. And this child is going to his grandfather's house, who was in one of the pictures of the people that founded the newspaper.
Yes.
And he's trying to get information about, does Wanda even actually own the newspaper? What the fuck? You were there. You should know, right? And we get an epic story about how he was there, actually. And he wrote the deed of changing ownership on the back of a calendar in hand. And it was never notarized in any way, but she definitely owns it because she won it. Her father won it in a back alley card game that was highly illegal. And here's exactly how. And I was there, and I'm a witness to their crime.
I was watching this, and I was looking, and they go, yeah, that's the deed in the back. See, I wrote it on a calendar. And I'm like, why is there a poker hand over it? She couldn't have won it in an illegal poker game, could she? And they're like, so anyways, Wanda won it in an illegal poker game. And I'm like, God damn it!
And it's showing the scene, and like the guy who was the dad of the now TV media company, who's our villain, lost the newspaper because he was a media mogul, you see.
Yes.
In a card game to Wanda's father, who cheated with a 5 ace of spades 5 flush hand that he changed mid-hand.
There's a real implication that he cheated.
It's very much hard implied that he cheated.
Mm-hmm.
But the other guy who was the witness was like, no, we should sign it right now. Like if we were watching another Western movie, like we did with that fucking Cinderella movie.
Oh, God.
It would have been cheated, and then the whole point would be like, no, we need to get the deed back from that awful, terrible person who cheated this out of our rightful ownership years ago before it got handed down to you. But that's not the message.
Nope.
The message is sign it now. She owns it.
If we do it now, real quick, nobody will be able to investigate. Our hero.
So anyway, it goes back to the Wild West, and the drunk guy's mom comes in on a train because she's very proud of him.
Yes.
Your mother must be very proud.
I think the wrong character is named Tommy in this part.
Is it? Okay.
No, because he should be named Tommy because his mom
Tommy
is very
Tallarico. That makes sense.
I'm bringing it. Come on, this is your line. I'm bringing it back.
Sorry, yeah, you're right. Fuck. God. I'll go burn one of my Guinness World Records.
Thank you. Please, yeah. Sacrifice one to Tommy for me.
Yeah. So the mom shows up, and then Calliope's like, oh, my mom's here. Fuck, she can't know.
Oh my God, I'm going to be an embarrassment.
She can't know I've been doing crime and shooting up the Waffle House.
Mm-hmm.
Bill, banker, you gotta save me.
Yeah.
And this is after he knocked out the sheriff by shooting a blind into his face.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill's like, are you sure? Do you want to sign a contract? I'm the good guy.
Blackmail.
So then Bill steals the sheriff's badge from the sheriff, puts it on Calliope, and then lies to his mother about him being the sheriff and knocking out this drunk loser.
Yeah, they basically switch places.
And the mom's like, now maybe you won't be such a drunk, dumb idiot, and my good boy son, who's the best sheriff in town, unlike you fucking loser.
Yes.
What's
great about this, too, is that you've got to remember, 2 minutes ago, less, this dude was blackout drunk.
Yeah. And a great shot.
So, he's still blackout drunk, right? His mom's just like, you're sheriff, you're allowed. It's cool.
Yeah, he's usually like that around his mom, though, so she doesn't notice, I guess.
Don't be a blackout drunk like my son, unless you can also be the sheriff and it's allowed. What a good boy.
So But this doesn't resolve the loan problem.
No.
This is just the side drunk problem of that guy that always be eaten.
Yes.
So the bad banker from the East Coast shows back up. He's like, "Oh, you don't have $10,000? I said it had to be due today." Well, anyways, lock up that fucking banker that made that illegal loan to his friend. Put a leash on him. We're taking him to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And all the freedoms are gone because that dog's on a leash, you know.
But Tom runs into the Waffle House,
The local Waffle House.
where they're all eating lots and lots of food,
eggs and bacon, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And his friend happens to have a sack of $30,000.
Right, because Tom's brother, who we thought was made up, is real, and shows up with a bag of $30,000 that he tells the entire Waffle House he has.
Yes.
Okay.
And then they just pay the money for the illegal loan, and the bank goes, like the government and the other banker oversight guy goes like, well, I mean, if you paid it back, that doesn't make it illegal. There you go, you're free and clear.
That makes your embezzlement totally legal. Anyways.
It's alright, you can just give yourself, like, no interest loans to your friends and things as long as you absolutely promise to pay it back. That's how it works.
Even if you get caught, as long as you make everything right at the end, who cares? That's real freedom right there.
Anyways, how many years did O. Henry serve in jail for embezzlement? 5?
Yeah.
5, was it?
So back in the real world, they go looking for the deed that was written on the back of a napkin. Some might call this a bit of a glass onion situation, where you're looking for a napkin of some mogul idea. I don't know, some bullshit. It's not important. And Wishbone finds the deed with the winning 5 ace, 5 flush hand, whatever.
Yo.
And the kids show that to the TV guy. It's like, look, she owns it because her dad has this thing written on the back of a piece of paper that says that he owns it. And anybody could have written this, and we have no evidence. And the guy's like, yeah, you have no fucking evidence. What is this? This is bullshit. But then the grandpa that they asked earlier walks in and is like, oh, but they have a witness too. Haha, we got you now. Okay, but it's not notarized. You didn't.
Yeah, I was going to say, what? Yeah. What do you mean you're a witness? You can't just say you're a witness 70 years later.
This is still not legal. I don't. But they boo him out. Like, boo.
Boo. So we want our favorite landlord back. Boo.
So he has to leave. He's like, I'll get you next time, gadget.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Wishbone saying, you see, that's what real freedom is. And what we really need to do is abolish all those leash laws and have smaller government. And that will make a better America.
Wanda, I think we need to do a news piece on something really important. An important political issue. Something that concerns every American citizen's basic rights of freedom and happiness. I want to call it Abolishing Leash Laws, the right thing to do.
So let's rate Wishbone. Are you glad that you pulled out a gun and shot your childhood directly between the eyes?
I think this specifically is probably the worst Wishbone thing I've ever watched. Like the other ones where he's like the Three Musketeers or Don Quixote. I'm like, yeah, these are pretty good. This is classic media. I'm learning about good literature. I'm seeing a cute dog and a cute outfit. And I'm sure there's some other random bullshit drama going on at home, but that's not the important part. And this is just propaganda.
This is incredible. Oh. I've never seen Wishbone. I don't know what it was.
So
I just missed out on it for whatever reason. I feel like I was maybe a little too old by the time that it was out.
Maybe, yeah.
Because I was like 11 for a lot of Wishbone.
This was more for like 6 to 10, I'd say.
Exactly. Like I think I was just like just barely on the outside of Wishbone and wanting to look at it. But hell of an intro. You didn't sell me. I will say though, like you said, most of the time I feel like this is less of a function of all of Wishbone being bad and more that they picked a story.
They picked a really bad story to adapt.
Then tried to reflect it, and like,
yeah,
I feel like the story isn't even necessarily that right wing in a lot of ways. Like, I think that there's a lot of the irony parts of it and the humor that it's actually playing up in the real short story is my guess. Like his mom coming in and stuff like that. That's a very humorous situation.
Funny,
like
because it's really about like, you don't want to throw your life away drinking. You should pick yourself up and become, you know, a person that's respectable. And you can do that without drinking. I think that's the main plot
in
of
some
the
of
short
it,
story.
yeah.
And the rest
There's
is maybe you
things
shouldn't
like
embezzle the town's money to loan to your friend. I think that's the other part of the story.
Yeah, I think that it's definitely not one of the best O. Henry stories from what I've read. Like, oh my god, like this does not. I don't know why they chose this one. Like, this one feels like a really weird choice in a lot of ways. Like, it's a weird choice for Wishbone, because like you were saying, I mean, the mom and the kid are basically just not in it.
Yep.
None of the kids' friends are in it, which are the normal characters. Like, it's just side characters, the movie.
Like usually it's like the son is writing a paper and he's embarrassed about the quality of it. But Wishbone sees that it was written really well, so he wants to show everyone. And then they find out, no, you actually can write. You just were anxious. Like, it's that type of, like, kids can relate to this type of thing, content. It's not it's not $10,000 loans to your friend embezzling freedom bullshit.
Yeah, this was
it's
just
so weird.
Like, it seems like a bad choice for a kid's show. It seems like it's out of character for the Wishbone stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not even like a good, well-known O. Henry short story. Like, it's not any of his most famous works at all. So it's just like, why is this done this way? Like, he's known a lot more, again, for doing like kind of funny twist endings and things and surprises, and you've got a little bit of that with the guy's mom just suddenly coming in as a Deus Ex and him being like, whoop, better clean myself up for my mommy, and there's a little bit of that, but like, they don't play it up in the way that they need to, and the main thrust of the story is pretty gross.
Yeah. I think if I had to rate Wishbone the dog, I would rate Wishbone as very cute in a cowboy hat out of 10. If I had to rate Wishbone's messaging in this film, much lower. Much lower. This is a terrible adaptation of anything.
I would have to rate Wishbone as a 36 shots to Boyks' childhood.
I think we're going to have to kill Wishbone, Pamtaro.
Oh my god. Aw, damn.
Damn. Well, alright, let's get the car ready so we can drive over Wishbone. Anyways, thanks for listening.
That's the traditional way that you murder dogs. We've seen it. You get a truck. Who's got a truck? Do we have a truck anyone can borrow? If you have a truck for us to borrow, you can find us on social media at Rough Cuts Cast on Blue Sky or on co-host. Or you can email us your truck info at roughcutscast@gmail.com. Or if you would like to help us buy our own truck to run over Wishbone, you can help support us on the Patreon. Boyks is dying a little over this, I think.
Look, the only thing I know is the next Wishbone story we have to adapt is the Cask of Amontillado, and I have a great idea on how to do that. But Montresor...
Let's put Wishbone's treats in this wall.
Okay, anyway.
Hey, Wishbone, I've got some, like, vintage milk bone.
See you next time.
See you.
I don't have a gun.
Lucky dog.